This is very historic, an executive order.
Donald Trump just signed an executive order that is going to change the course of financial history for the entire globe. And if Africa is paying attention, it too can participate in what is rapidly becoming the greatest financial revolution humanity has ever seen. So if you want to understand exactly how Africa can benefit from Donald Trump's unprecedented executive order, stay tuned.
Welcome to the channel. My name is TJ. I am Nigerian and British mixed. A couple of years ago, I decided to leave the UK and move to Uganda to start a new life with my partner, Medina. It has been one hell of an adventure, and I decided to put some of that adventure on this channel. In that time, I have been confronted with more and more situations of understanding the relationship between Africa and the rest of the world. So I put my thoughts, ideas, reactions, etc. about that subject matter on this channel, which brings us to what has happened with Donald Trump. We're going to look at what he's done and how Africa can benefit from this situation.
Today we're signing, this is very historic, an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and digital asset stockpile. This is a promise that you made throughout the campaign, and today we're keeping that promise. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin that the federal government already owns, so it won't cost taxpayers a dime. This is like a digital Fort Knox for digital gold. And premature sales of Bitcoin over the past years cost American taxpayers over $17 billion in lost value because we didn't have a long-term strategy.
Right.
Now we do. So.
And this is something you believe in fully?
100%, yeah.
Okay.
And the whole community believes in it.
Very good. And I made the promise, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a good one.
So the person you heard talking there, his name is David Sachs. He's a Silicon Valley billionaire. He's heavily involved in crypto, and he is one of the hosts of the All In podcast. What he's talking about there is the fact that US has holdings of Bitcoin already. They've confiscated it from criminals and various other situations, and they've never known what to do with it. They can never agree on what to do with that money. And since the time they've been holding it, Bitcoin has been going up and up and up and up. When they did get rid of some of it in the past, that is lost value that they could have held onto if they kept a reserve. Now, there is a whole rabbit hole about Bitcoin that I know some people may not know. But one of the things is that Bitcoin cannot be printed. There's only a limited amount of it. So once you have some of it, as more people try to buy it, they're going after the same limited amount of Bitcoins. And Bitcoins can be divided up into 7 or I think 9 decimal places, which means you can hold a fraction of a Bitcoin and that value can keep going up depending on the demand for Bitcoin. So you imagine if America holds 5%, 1%, 10, 20% of all the Bitcoin that exists, just like the way they hold gold, that means that other countries will probably hold on to it and the value will rise, let alone businesses and individuals. So I think you know where I'm going with this. Every African nation now should hold on to Bitcoin because the Americans have decided to hold on to Bitcoin. Now, a couple of years ago, I had a conversation with my sister and I was trying to persuade her to invest in some Bitcoin, and she was just learning about it. And what she said to me is, I like dollars because the full force of the American military backs those dollars, which at the time, America couldn't make up their mind what to think about Bitcoin. The legislation wasn't clear. And people were still wondering if maybe Bitcoin would become illegal someday. But right now, we've just had Donald Trump put a rubber stamp of approval on Bitcoin. They're going to hold it the way they hold gold. It is a more efficient store of value than gold. And I think every country in the world is going to scramble to get their own holdings of Bitcoin. El Salvador have completely changed their economy by doing that and making it legal tender in their country. And now US has made a major step. And if Africa doesn't get this, it will be left behind. Now, a few weeks ago, I made a very popular video on my channel about Ibrahim Traore and what he's doing in Burkina Faso. I describe how France created an agreement called the Pact for the Continuation of Colonization, which all 14 French colonies had to sign in order to gain their independence, continuation of colonization, from the French government. Now, the reason we call it a fake independence is because it required those countries to use the CFA franc, which stipulates that they must deposit a certain amount of their financial holdings in the French National Bank. And if they want access to those holdings, they can only receive them in the form of a loan. This is highly predatory. Every country in the world should be condemning this practice. It holds these countries back in so many ways. Now, we've seen Ibrahim Traore discuss and talk about the possibility of creating an independent African currency separate from the CFA franc. And Bitcoin could be the bridge or the main backer of that currency. We are literally talking about a tool that can help create true independence for African nations where they do not have to have the meddling of outside countries in their financial affairs.
The nature of Bitcoin is that it's permissionless. So you see all these restrictions that we have in the economy. You want to get a payment rail for your business, like a POS system. You need to apply it with the bank. Then they need to give you the machine and all that kind of stuff. That is already removed immediately with Bitcoin, because anyone can just wake up today, start a business, say I'm accepting cryptocurrency for this kind of payments. And also it's the speed. Right? Bank-to-bank transactions can take time sometimes, and if something goes wrong, you have to call the bank and all these kind of things. That is inefficiency in the economy. You don't want that. Crypto like Bitcoin is 24/7. There is no weekends, there's nothing. It operates all the time. So you plug into the ecosystem, your business is supercharged.
You see, 1.4 billion people are on the continent of Africa right now, and in many countries, between 50 and 80% of those individuals are not banked. As of right now, my UK bank doesn't transfer money to Uganda, which causes all kinds of trouble when I need money from my UK accounts, which is where I earn my money from. Bitcoin opens up trade internationally, which is difficult right now. For Europeans and people in the West, they have a great financial banking system. They can use an app, they can do all these transactions. It's seamless and it feels digital because it happens instantly on your phone or on your computer. But it's only a facade of digital, because behind it is a system where there's many intermediaries and you trade from bank to bank through an old antiquated system that can take many days to clear, especially when you're doing international transfer. Well, Bitcoin doesn't know any borders, doesn't know any country. There is no individual in control of it. It is owned by all the participants in the system, which means no one can come in and say, we're going to print more of it, we're going to change it, we're going to do this or that to it. Any change to the system has to be done by consensus. And the owners of that system, all of the users and the participants, have a vested interest in the integrity of that system. So this opens up all types of international trade and options for businesses all around the world. So we're talking about layers and layers and layers of value, from store of value to business opportunities to international digital rails for people to do their transactions, etc. But there are also other benefits that are not yet realized. See, we are on the verge of an AI revolution. And without getting too geekish, AIs are going to be controlling businesses. They're going to be interacting with each other, and they are going to need an easy, simple digital currency to work with in order to complete transactions and do all types of interesting things. So what we're seeing is a merge of crypto and AI right now. And that is only going to be a stronger bond in the future. AI is another thing that I talk about on this channel that is set to change Africa. And it goes hand in hand that a digital thing like AI needs a digital currency like Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin is a whole rabbit hole for people that may not have made that journey yet. But if there was ever a time for you to figure out understanding Bitcoin, getting to decide for yourself whether you think it's a valuable asset or not, now is the time. And yes, there are dangers within the crypto market. We've all seen pump and dump schemes, meme coins, and all of those things. I'm not talking about all of those things. I'm talking about Bitcoin. So I'm sure you guys have lots of opinions. Please feel free to put them in the comments, especially if it's something that you think I haven't thought about in this space. If you don't have anything to write, however, would it be too much to ask for you to write the comment Bitcoin Africa? Just so I know that you've made it to this part of the video. I know you're supporting me, you like what I'm doing, and you want me to keep going. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you.